What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Daytime Studios. And today I'm going to talk about my thoughts on Dragonflight so far. So today's going to be a little bit more of a chill thing, right? I'm going to talk about I finally hit 70. Okay, I'll show you guys here. Finally hit 70 on Dragonflight with my orc here, buddy. He's a cool dude. He's cool. I dig him. Um, Honestly, yeah, I freaking love this expansion. All right, it's way better for alts. The story is absolutely fucking amazing. I'm probably gonna do a couple little spoilers, so just a heads up now. There'll be a couple of spoilers when I talk about certain things that I found really that I enjoyed. Um, and they just made a lot of the things in the game, like professions, the questing and all that, just feels so much better. And of course, dragon riding, can't forget about dragon riding. Well, yeah, so let's talk about the first thing. Is this expansion really actually good for alts? Huh? Like that's the real talk here. Is it actually good for alts? And the answer is yeah. I If you take a look here, I actually initially started with an evoker, and you'll get the little background music now that I clicked on the game. I actually started with evoker, and it was cool. I actually really enjoy the class. It's really fun. My only thing with evoker, right? The only thing that I feel about it is it's a little squishy in regards to like the questing aspect of it. I I do enjoy like the different builds. I just played Devastation. I'm not really much of a healer guy, but I feel like where they're gonna shine is in doing dungeon and raiding content. I don't think they're gonna be that great in regards to like they don't feel great when you're questing because of how squishy they are. And there's a lot of areas where you're gonna be fighting multiple mobs and you gotta kind of sweat a little bit and make sure you're doing your rotation properly, or you die. And that's just flat out. So I hit 68. I actually finished the main story. I unlocked world quests and all that kind of stuff. And I said, you know what? I don't think I'm going to main evoker. So why don't I go ahead and go to one that I'm pretty sure I'm going to main, which was my warrior, my fury warrior, the fisterer, right? I like plate classes the most, but I decided, I'm probably going to main my fury warrior. Why? Because, Asmongold plays fury warrior and plays warrior. So why wouldn't I not play warrior? Duh. Okay, no, I'm joking. It's actually because I just really love the gameplay. The first character that I ever maxed out leveled was a Fury Warrior. Anyways, actually, I think it was actually a DK. Might have been a DK. Don't quote me on it. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Anyways, so then it actually kind of gave me an insight into how is this with leveling alts? How was the expansion doing in regards to like, I'm gonna hop on this alt. Is it gonna feel really shitty like it did in Shadowlands, where it's really grindy, it's overbearing, it's a lot of work? And the answer is no. It really was great to hop in. All the glyphs and stuff that I had gotten with my evoker prior to, I was able just to pop them all in automatically. So I had I had dragonflying right off the bat. So leveling, was super fast. It made leveling so much faster, and then I only got more glyphs as I was playing because I got to see the ones that I didn't catch initially, and it just made it so I could even progress that much faster. Plus, I was playing a Fury Warrior, so it was really easy to kind of grind up, and I wasn't even doing it the efficient way. I really wanted to focus on the profession, so I just kind of sat by some where nodes were spawning, and I was just dungeon queuing and just like going into that, and the fact that you can just the leveling experience from when I went through it with my evoker, where it was very streamlined and I had to run through all the story right the way it's supposed to be told, which by the way is an amazing story, and you should definitely do it on one character at least. And then being able to go to my Fury Warrior and then have a completely different experience and know that, I hit 70. I didn't even touch a quarter of the stuff that I really did with my evoker, and I can actually just kind of get every bit and piece out of the expansion with all my other classes that I want. Obviously, as far as like farming renown and all that kind of stuff, like that's more endgame stuff that I like to save for, so I have something to look forward to, rather than just like, hey, I am gonna farm it all while I'm trying to do the leveling process, and then I'm stuck with doing all the story and stuff at the end. I do have to do that with him, but that's because I was kind of testing it out and feeling out how the leveling of alts felt. So in that regards, it feels so much better. Like I didn't really put that much game time into grinding him up, to be honest, and I'm already 70 and I can't complain. Like I feel like I'm like, bro, I can't wait to farm out everything else and get him the full set of gear and all that kind of stuff. Like I don't feel worn out trying to get him to max level like you do feel in Shadowlands. And then freaking professions. Never have I played WoW and then had I felt like, hey, I want to hop on right now and I want to farm my profession. I just want to go around, get nodes, get my professions. And why is that? Why? Like, it's honestly usually so annoying, unless you're doing it in areas where you're way over leveled. But with Dragonflight, like you have the fire-based mining nodes that do damage to you, and then you can get all your Titan Forge ones, and you find the little caves, and that's really cool because then you can go in, and then if you say you open up the cave, and then herbalist comes by, there's sometimes herbs in there that they can go get, and it honestly makes it super super fun, and like with the new talent points that you have to put in, it makes it feel like you're actually striving for something. Whereas prior to, when you were farming your professions, it didn't feel like you were actually working towards anything other than like, hey, I'm just gonna get this better gear or whatever. At least now you're like, yo, I need to get these notes so I can get the I call them knowledge materials. I don't know exactly what they're called because they're different for every class, but or every profession. And then you're like, oh, now I can put in points into here and do this, and then I get better at my mining, and then I can make better gear. And as you're making better gear, every time you do a first craft bonus, you like actually do go up a couple levels, and you're like, dude, this feels freaking great. And then you can craft stuff for like your friends who play the game or whatever. And like for me, like I have a buddy who's a leather worker, so I crafted him a better skinning knife, a leather working box, and I forget what the third thing I crafted was, but it was all like leather working and skinning stuff. And I was like, dude, here you go, because he plays a hunter, and it just felt really good, and it made it like, it made professions part of the game again. And I feel like the last time professions were really a part of the game was like Burning Crusade. Right, and I didn't really play much Burning Crusade. That's the first time I ever tried WoW was actually Burning Crusade. And I've played Wrath of the Lich King. I played Pandaria. I didn't really play Kata that much. I played very little. But like, from what I remember, as far as importance of what crafting feels like, it's important. Dragonflight feels like, dude, you have to craft. Like, if you want to get some of the best stuff in the game, just gear wise, at least right now too, in the very beginning, crafting is the way to go. It feels so good. It feels so nice to actually craft something and be like, I'm going to use this right now, other than a freaking legendary item. And so I gotta like, hats off to them. I out of like all the things, like I love dragon riding, I love all that, but out of the things that like, I'm like, this is going to carry on into other expansions, right? The crafting, I mean, they fucking killed it, as well as the talents. Like the talents they killed as well, but I cannot stress it enough on like how much better it is, because I absolutely love it. It's freaking amazing. And then dragon riding, man, it's amazing. The way they develop this expansion, like this area and this zone, right? It makes it so when you're traveling around on and doing dragon riding, it makes you want to explore, not only to find the glyphs, right, but you're doing the races, so it makes you kind of go fly around the areas, and you get like a most optimal path, and like it makes exploring fun again. And exploring hasn't been fun like in Shadowlands. I played a lot of Shadowlands mainly because I wanted to catch up, and like as you can see, I have a lot of alts, right, that are at 60. Right, I did a lot of farming in Shadowlands because it was like I finally really got back to the game, which is a horrible time to get back to the game, dude. It was kind of rough. But what I do have to say is, it made me appreciate this expansion that much more, because everything felt so much less grindy, and like traveling around the areas, I didn't feel like I really just didn't like the Shadowlands like exploration. Some of it was okay. Certain zones, like Revendreth was cool looking, horrible for exploration. It was like very shitty, especially if you didn't have flying, right? Like, which you don't at the very beginning. I liked Ardenweald. Ardenweald was nice to explore. The Maw kind of I didn't really care for exploring. Maldraxxus was kind of mid. Bastion was very easy, but then again, it's like it's because it's the first zone. So like I kind of am like, eh. The only reason it's okay with exploration wise is because it's actually just like the first zone, so it's gonna be easier as far as like mob density and all that kind of stuff. So it didn't feel good. But Dragonflight, like I could just fly around for freaking hours, and I have no issue with it. Like I haven't gone out of my way to get all the dragon glyphs because I want to take the extra time to explore. And yeah, so the final thing I want to talk about is actually the story. And I wanted to save this for last because I will be talking about a little bit of spoilers. But I mean, if you have, and that's only if you really haven't played at all. If you haven't played, there's a certain quest, and it's become a screenshot of mine. If I can minimize my freaking, I'm just gonna exit the game. I screenshotted it for my background, and for those of you who see this screenshot, you guys know exactly what quest this is. You talk to this dwarf guy right here, and it is probably some of the, if not the best, lore quests that I've experienced in WoW. In my experience of playing WoW, I've never really had a good lore experience. That I didn't have to go like that. I had to go otherwise, like that I didn't have to go looking for. That's how I want to say it, because this is a quest that you just kind of get led to. It's like right there at the beginning, and you just like at first you sit down and you're like, okay, what do I do? And then you end up talking to this guy, and he tells you his story, his like life story, and it's so sad, but it is also so good, and it just makes you like honestly really appreciate him. And the scenery that you're looking at is so beautiful. I was like, dude, I have to screenshot this. Like, this is now my background. It has to be, because it's my favorite story quest there. And the other thing is, as you get farther into it, they make the quest so, how is it? They make you feel so, like, involved. Like, when you do the Black Dragonflight thing, and you all of a sudden you find out, like, dude, there's going to be a civil war with the Black Dragonflight, trying to figure out who's going to be the next aspect. Like, that's amazing. And, my other favorite one was doing the Bronze Dragonflight, which is at the very end, and you're fighting through the different dimensions, and then the one that you go to, that it's all Murlocs, right? It's a Murloc dimension. You fight Murloc Deathwing, and you fight alongside your version of your Murloc self, and there's Thrall Murloc, and then there's like oh my god, I'm blanking on this. Varian, I'm sorry, Varian Murloc, and dude, it's so good. It was literally like, I felt sad when I finished that quest line, because I just wanted to stay in that zone, because I thought it was so amazing on how they got so creative with the quest design. It was just absolutely amazing. And then also, like, at the end you get your Heart of Azmorloth, right? And it's like, it makes you for a second you go, wait, Heart of Azeroth, and then it kind of clicks, and you're like, oh, this is like a little gag thing. And it's just, it feels so good, it felt so good. So thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in. Have a great evening. As always, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and hit that noti bell. See you next time, and take the time to do the things you love.